Welcome to the Sophia Georgetown Joint Symposium, The Future of the Asia-Pacific, New Paths for Japan-United States Cooperation. My name is Aiko Doden, Senior Commentator on International Affairs, NHK, Japan Broadcasting Corporation. Now, I am a Sophia graduate too, went on to do my master's at Columbia, and it is indeed an honor to be the MC for this event in celebration of the centenary of Sophia University, further strengthening the bond that exists between Georgetown and Sofia. And as you can see in the brochure, it is going to be a solid day of discussions and debates. There will be 3 sets of panel discussions and a conversation among stellar panelists on issues that matter both for United States and Japan in terms of defining the new paths for cooperation. And above all, students are expected to actively participate. And I believe extra credits would be given by the professors per question. And I only flew in yesterday, and I am flying out tomorrow morning, but I look forward to the panels and discussions that are going to take place today here at Georgetown. So may I first ask Professor Ichiro Fujisaki to give us his welcome remarks. Ambassador Fujisaki is a known figure in Washington community, of course, most recently through his posting here as Japan's ambassador to the United States. Professor Fujisaki is currently the chairman of international strategies at Sophia University and has been instrumental in making this event a reality.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'll just say 3 things. First of all, this is a very special symposium to commemorate the centennial of Sophia University. The idea came up last September when I had a lunch with President DeGioia here when I was ambassador. Vice President Terumichi and Father McNamara was there. And after that, under the guidance of President DeGioia, on the Georgetown side, Vice President Tom Banchoff, Father McNamara, Austin, Ahrens because there are several Aaron, I was told, and Toyer and all others worked so strenuously for this. So we are very grateful. Thank you very much. Let us give a big applause to all those who worked on Georgetown side. As this is a centennial commemoration, we would like this to be a springboard of Sophia-Georgetown relations. It has been a very strong relations, a long time, Jesuit brotherhood, but still, there's a lot of room to fortify. And we think that it's in your hands, young Georgetown students and Sophia students, so we'd like to see that happen. Second thing I'm going to say is that this is a very special symposium, as Doden-san said. It's a student initiative, student-oriented program, and we brought 20 students from Sofia. This is a very special thing. So, as Doden-san said, we'd like to have Georgetown and Sofia students involved in discussion whenever the moderator opened the floor. It's the students who have the priority in asking questions or expressing their views. You don't have to just ask questions, you can express your views as well. Third thing, what I'm teaching in Sofia is to make short, crispy, succinct remarks. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Tom Banchoff. I'm delighted to see so many people here, and especially want to welcome our honored guests, Chancellor Kozo and President Takizawa. I am the Vice President for Global Engagement here at Georgetown, and it's been my pleasure to be part of the organization of this event, which, as the ambassador mentioned, is designed as a process to deepen relations between our two universities. And I'm delighted for all the help and support we've received from our community, but especially from the ambassador and his team. We're delighted in particular to welcome Sophia students here for discussions that have begun over the last couple of days and we hope will continue into the future. I too look forward to an exciting day of discussion and debate around the future of the Asia-Pacific, around US-Japanese relations and the challenges and opportunities we face in that context and in a wider global context. And I'm particularly delighted that we'll be able to feature faculty on panels providing different perspectives across disciplines from our two institutions on these critical issues of our day. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Georgetown's president, Dr. John J. DeGioia, who, along with President Takizawa, will provide some framing remarks for our symposium today. Dr. DeGioia has served as the 48th president of Georgetown since 2001, and before that, for more than 2 decades, held a range of leadership positions across the university. Over the past 12 years, under President DeGioia's leadership, Georgetown has emerged as a global force in higher education and as an innovator in efforts to link up our core mission of teaching and research with service to the wider world. Examples include our campus in Doha, Qatar, our initiatives on global health and global human development, and our collaboration with the World Economic Forum around issues of values in world affairs. Dr. DeGioia addresses broader issues in higher education as chair of the board of directors of the Forum for the Future of Higher Education and as a member of the board of directors for the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities, among many other leadership roles that link our great university with the wider world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming President Jack DeGioia.
Well, thank you very much, Tom, for that kind introduction and for your leadership here at Georgetown. As our new and first Vice President for Global Engagement here, Tom's been integral to the organization of this symposium with our colleagues from Sophia University, and we'll be moderating a panel a little later this afternoon on higher education in the global era. I also wish to thank my dear friend, Ambassador Fujisaki, for his opening remarks, for all that he has done to help bring us all together. It's a pleasure to have you back here in Washington and to have an opportunity to celebrate this day with you. I'd like to thank also Sophia University's Chancellor, Father Toshiaki Koso, and its President, Dr. Tadashi Takizawa, for their leadership in convening today's symposium with us. I wish also to express my gratitude to the full delegation from Sofia and to everyone here today celebrating with us, my colleagues from Georgetown, for all those who could be with us today for their hard work and dedication to making today a success. We'll have the pleasure today of also hearing from our student delegations, which have been meeting since yesterday to discuss the themes of the symposium and how we can deepen the collaboration between our two institutions. I'm grateful to our students for their time and engagement with these issues. And finally, thank you also to Ms. Ichiro Fujisaki of the Japan Broadcasting Corporation for ensuring a smooth and engaging program, and it's a privilege to welcome you to our campus. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you to Georgetown University today. We gather as Sophia celebrates its centenary, and we join in that celebration through this symposium. Sophia and Georgetown have a long tradition of academic partnership and exchange that dates back several decades, and the very spirit of international engagement, intercultural understanding, and friendship that has formed our work together through the years stands as the foundation for the dialogue that we convene together today. The relationship between Georgetown and Sophia dates back to 1935, when our institutions established a study abroad program through which students from Sofia came to our hilltop here in Washington. And the first student who came to study at Georgetown eventually became a professor, and then Professor Emeritus at Sofia, and that's Professor Matoshi Karita. Many years later, in 1987, we entered into a formal undergraduate exchange agreement, and since then, more than 240 of our students from here at Georgetown have participated, including one who's studying this fall in Sofia. Just moments ago, we also signed a memorandum of understanding between our two institutions to promote and facilitate international cooperation in education and research. We inaugurate this agreement with today's symposium, and our topic is the future of the Asia Pacific. We approach this in the context of globalization and a world more interconnected than ever before, and at a time when revolutions in communication and transportation technologies are blurring borders and boundaries in ways that are truly unprecedented. As we grapple with the implications of these forces, of our responsibilities and roles in this new era, we find a unique resource in our universities. Our universities are uniquely positioned to promote dialogue and understanding around the most pressing issues of our time, just as we do today. Our two universities in convening this discourse on the future of the Asia Pacific. The Asia Pacific is an increasingly important region, not just in terms of demographics and economics, but in terms of political development and peace. As we engage both the challenges and opportunities of this moment, we see just how important strong U.S.-Japanese ties are to our respective futures, just as our longstanding friendship has been in enabling us to have the foundation for our work today. As we explore this topic today, we will examine its many dimensions, encompassing diplomacy, education, and technology. We will be fortunate to hear from scholars and leaders on issues related to the future of U.S.-Japan relations, the role of higher education in a global era, and the opportunities and political challenges related to technology and innovation in the region. We will ask questions about the roles our countries can and should play, about the relationships and partnerships that support our common goals, and about the specific roles that universities, like Sofia and Georgetown, can fulfill in this shared endeavor. As we look to the future, we will also seek to strengthen the ties and bonds forged within our past, of the strong economic and cultural connection between the United States, Japan, and the Asia-Pacific region. We believe that in looking back through the decades and analyzing the challenges and opportunities of the present, that we may become better equipped to envision a more promising future. So we come to this conversation bringing with us the resources of our universities, with our extraordinary faculty and scholars, with the promise of our students, and with the belief that it is only through our common enterprise, through our engagement and dialogue with one another, that we can gain a deeper understanding of our world. Georgetown and Sofia also bring to our dialogue the resources of our Catholic and Jesuit tradition, a tradition that calls on us to identify our world's greatest needs and to go forth and meet them. It is within this spirit that we seek to confront the challenges of our present moment, to live with its questions, to seek greater knowledge, deeper understanding, not despite our differences, but in them. This is also the vantage point from which we seek to envision our future together, here, today. So again, it is a pleasure for me to be here with all of you, to welcome you to Georgetown University. We're grateful for your participation in this symposium, and we look forward to our conversations that will begin here today and will continue in the months and years ahead. It's a privilege for us to be a part of the Centenary celebration of this extraordinary university, and we're honored that we have this opportunity to be together for this symposium today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President DeGioia. And next to speak is Professor Tadashi Takizawa, President of Sophia University.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the kind introduction. I am Tadashi Takizawa, President of Sophia University. I have the great privilege to give this greeting message. It is our honor and pleasure to have with us today President DeGioia of Georgetown University, the faculty, staff, and the students of Georgetown to join the faculty, staff, and the students of Sophia University at this joint symposium held to commemorate the centenary anniversary of Sophia University. First of all, let me take this opportunity to report to you that Georgetown and Sofia have today agreed and signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Mutual Cooperation. I would like to thank everyone who helped to organize this symposium and also all those whose support over the years and the reward of over the years has enhanced the cooperation between the two universities. Let us share this moment and the reward of seeing the bonds between the two universities strengthened. Since its foundation in 1913, Sophia University has emphasized an international focus and has placed priorities on relations with universities from all over the world linked by a Catholic network. To date, Sophia has agreement on student exchange and academic cooperation with over 170 universities in 40 countries. Highly motivated students and excellent faculty are gathered from many countries to build an international community on the campus. In 2009, Sofia was selected by the Minister of Education as one of the 13 major universities in Japan for the project of establishing a university network for internationalization. Given such an educational environment, Sofia continues to attract many young people who wish to study and acquire abilities to cope with diverse global issues in the future. As I mentioned earlier, Sofia has a broad range of network, and this is one of the major features of the university. The ties with Georgetown University are indeed symbolic. They date back to 1934, when Sofia students of the Automobile Club visited Georgetown University. On the report of the visit, Sofia students wrote that they felt a mixture of sense of familiarity and sanctity instilled in the learning, and that positive future of education are most successfully demonstrated through religion. This is my first visit here, and standing on the campus as a student did, I fully agree with their words. The atmosphere of the campus strongly resembles that of Sofia, reflecting the same educational spirit shared by the two universities. Later, in 1935, through their relation with the Society of Jesus, Sofia entered into an agreement for student exchange with Georgetown University. Georgetown offered a scholarship program, and supported by this, in 1936, the first exchange students from Sofia arrived on this campus. Georgetown is a pioneer institution for our overseas student exchange programs, and to date have provided opportunity to exchange for a vast number of faculty and students. The current student exchange agreement was made in 1975, and for over 40 years, a constant flow of exchange has continued, resulting in about 90 Sophia students and about 220 Georgetown students visiting the other university. The number indicates that the program of studying at the other institution has inspired a great many students, and there is no doubt that the international experience has significantly influenced their lives and forms the basis for their global activities. As you can see, the joint symposium held today symbolize the history of cooperation with overseas universities and thus plays an important role among the Sofia Centennial projects. As a main project, on November 1st, we plan to have a commemoration ceremony followed by a celebration party with many guests and participants. With the overseas universities, various centennial projects are planned with the message, Sofia bringing the world together. This symposium is the starter. In late September, a symposium titled High Science and Technology and Bioethics will be held at Cologne University, and in December, Jesuit partner universities from Asian countries will be invited to Tokyo for a panel to discuss the future role of the Sophia University in the globalization of Japan. Next year in March, a symposium will be held at Gregorian University in Rome. Today, the symposium is held under the title, The Future of the Asia Pacific, New Path for Japanese-US Cooperation. Needless to say, the Asian Pacific region now faces wide-ranging issues that have an enormous impact on other countries in politics, economy, education, environment, and other fields. In discussing these issues, the role of the US and Japan and their cooperative relation became increasingly significant. This symposium has its significance in not only providing an opportunity for specialists of various fields from the two universities to discuss the issues, but also in stimulating students of both universities, our next generation, to actively participate in the discussion. The symposium should offer a platform for exchange of information across generations and thus present a model for academic collaboration between the US and Japan. As I mentioned earlier, the two universities share the educational spirit of the Society of Jesus and strive to educate students to develop into individuals with capabilities for high global achievements. The two universities have joined hands to hold the symposium, and we hope it will be stimulating and challenging. Lastly, taking this opportunity, I would like to express three wishes. First, I wish that the ties between Georgetown and Sofia will become even stronger over the next century, along with the relation between the US and Japan. Second, that education and research will develop further in both countries and both universities. Third, that the two universities, based on their shared educational spirit, will achieve their mission to educate and bring into the world individuals with a commitment to work for world peace and make an international contribution. I would like to close my greeting with the wish that the symposium will be rewarding and memorable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Takizawa. As has been reiterated by many speakers, this is a key event for students of both institutions, The students' leaders from both delegations will now report to us the outcome of the discussion regarding the scope of student cooperation between Georgetown and Sofia. So can the representative come to the stage?
Good morning. My name is Lindsay Horikoshi, and I'm a sophomore at Georgetown University's School of Nursing and Health Studies, majoring in international health. And I'm one of the student leaders for the Georgetown delegation present today at this US-Japan symposium. First, I'd like to thank the Berkeley Center staff, President DeGioia, President Takizawa, Chancellor Koso, and Ambassador Fujisaki, as well as the rest of the Sofia and Georgetown delegations, for being present today and engaging in dialogue over the past few days here at Georgetown. The students have had multiple opportunities to work together over the past few days, starting on Friday evening, where the student leaders were able to discuss the beginning logistics to plan the delegation meeting the following week. Additionally, we were able to meet on Saturday to plan out some of the topics that we would be able to discuss and identify critical issues that both delegations are concerned about. And yesterday, at our student delegation meeting, we were able to discuss the past collaboration between Georgetown and Sophia universities, which has been very consistent over the past decades, but both delegations would like to see this relationship increase in the future through personal relationships and dialogue about issues that both delegations are concerned about. We identified 5 themes, which are language, education, human rights, globalization, and security, as critical issues that concern US-Japan cooperation. And our delegations broke into these 5 roundtables to discuss ways that the 2 groups can collaborate in the future concerning these 5 issues. And I will summarize for you the outcomes of each roundtable. The language roundtable expressed great interest in having future conferences between the students of Georgetown and Sophia universities, and suggested that these conferences would be conducted at the schools in alternate years, and that the conferences would be conducted in English. While all of the Japanese students spoke yesterday in English, many of them expressed concern over their English skills. However, we feel that they did a very good job in expressing their opinions on different issues, and if we were to conduct the conferences in Japanese, that would restrict the student participation more on the Georgetown side. The education roundtable emphasized the importance of developing public speaking and leadership skills within both delegations. Especially on the Japanese side, the students said that oral communication skills are not emphasized in their education system and really want to have an opportunity to develop those skills through conversations with Georgetown students, whether through video conferencing or other methods of communication. The Human Rights Roundtable expressed interest in learning more about US-Japan cooperation in development projects overseas in various issues such as reducing the gender gap in education and human trafficking. The group also mentioned that human rights issues in their home countries are of critical importance too, such as combating hate speech and discrimination. For example, the one Japanese delegate mentioned the need to reduce hate speech against certain ethnic minorities, such as Koreans living in Japan. The 4th roundtable, security, discussed the importance of the US and Japan's stake in the current Syria crisis, And there was also interest in promoting trilateral relations among the US, Japan, and Korea, because there are many important allies in Asia, and it is important that conversations include not just the US and Japan, but other people and countries that have stake in the Pacific region. Finally, the Globalization Roundtable expressed the importance for the exchange of ideas among the two countries and stressed the importance that no one culture should dominate discussion, but rather it is most important to share the cultures and ideas and really unite in our similarities and in our differences. They also discussed interest in the free trade potential between the two countries and within the Pacific region in general, as well as reducing protectionist policies and engaging more with developing countries in the Pacific region. We think that as a next generation of leaders, it is important that students from Georgetown and Sophia universities have channels to share their thinking and come up with policy ideas in both universities and to share those ideas with students on the other side of the world. Because in the future, there's a good chance that we will be working together, and it's important that we start these conversations now. At least in the United States, the Obama administration is shifting a lot of their foreign policy focus back to East Asia because of the enormous growth and potential in that region. And it's imperative that as Georgetown students and as Americans, we work with one of our closest allies in the region, Japan, and Sophia University, an institution in Japan that shares many of the Jesuit values that we hold very closely here at Georgetown. Additionally, the Georgetown delegation would like to see our university as an example to our peer institutions in the United States to show how an American university can work very closely with another school, its peer and counterpart in Asia, rather than just importing Western institutions overseas. We're really interested in sharing our cultures, sharing our ideas, and our prospects for the future. Additionally, we believe that it's imperative that this kind of collaboration starts with the students. We really want a grassroots foundation for this collaboration between the universities, so that there's a greater incentive for the universities to continue collaborating on an institutional level. We anticipate meeting each other again in person in the future to continue these conversations, and we would also like to involve our alumni groups in order to connect students with career options overseas. For example, Georgetown students that may be interested in working in Japan after graduation. In conclusion, we really look forward to elevating this collaboration between the two schools, and the Georgetown delegation looks forward to seeing what kind of impact this will have on our institutions, our personal relationships, and our professional futures. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Minai Kari. I'm a junior majoring in law in Sophia University. I'm very honored to be here today, and I would like to thank all the faculty, all the staff members that helped bring this symposium together, celebrating the Centenary of Sophia University and giving us this wonderful opportunity. As Lindsay has presented about the present point of our joint project we thought up, I would like to talk about the future and dreams of the joint project. By the way, this is the first time for me to visit Washington, D.C. When I first arrived at Washington, D.C., I thought I saw a large white marble pencil standing in the middle of the city. And of course, right near, it said on a street sign, Pennsylvania Avenue. No, it was a monument, a Washington Monument, a memorial of the illustrious commander-in-chief who vindicated and secured the U.S. liberty, sovereignty, and independence. I feel very sorry to hear that the symbol has been hurt by the earthquake. Japan, too, has gone through a disastrous one in 2011. But now, Japan is coming back. Tokyo has embraced the honor to be chosen as the destination of the Olympic Games in 2020. But we could never have gone through the most difficult times without the assistance of the United States. We will never forget the kindness and the friendship between the United States and Japan. ありがとうございます。Many shared thoughts form the base of the US and Japanese relationship. For example, commitment to democracy, the rule of law, human rights, global security, open markets, and the pleasant feeling that the Syrian issue is somehow finding its way to its conclusion. But still, as Lindsay has presented us, we possess many different thoughts. In this symposium, the Georgetown University students and the Sophia University students enjoy the opportunity to discuss our thoughts. We seek a way for further understanding. Thus, we propose an idea of establishing an institution. The institution would allow university students to continue the discussion on global issues. The institution would be consisted of two major activities. First, a TV conference held once a month. The television conference is the heart of the activities. Each meeting will have a topic. Students from both Sophia University and the Georgetown University will do a brief presentation and discuss the topic. Face-to-face contact would be possible without applying to exchanging programs. I believe both university students would have 5 big chances. First, foster resilience. 2, find keys for innovation. 3, inspire those who have similar goals. 4, collaborate with the different. 5, communicate with those with different cultural backgrounds. All would be a practice for those who wish to be global leaders. Japan is one of the closest friends of the United States. But Georgetown University students would experience how strange it is to have conversation with students possessing a different mother tongue. It would be a challenge for Sophia University students to communicate in a different language. The time difference may become a challenge too. Considering the usage of the facility in early and late hours, for example, 7 a.m. in Sofia and 8 p.m. in Georgetown, we would like to ask help from the universities. Second, the second activity would be a blog run by steering members of the television conference. The television conference holds the oral, visual side of the exchanging thoughts. The blog would have the descriptive side. Students will write brief articles on global news every week. For example, October 1st, Sophia University. October 8th, Georgetown University. October 15th, Sophia University, and so on. The articles will be short, so it will not become a strain to those who do diligent work. But our dreams is to make the blog to become a platform of true freedom of speech. Free from political interest, free from economical issues, what students can only acquire. Our plan is very still fuzzy. We still have to work on it to make it real and sustainable. It may begin as a very small project, but the importance of informal talks is increasing. We think there is something university students can do by themselves. Finally, with this project and time-to-time encounters, I hope the bond between the two universities would always be pleasant, just as the cherry blossoms at Tidal Basin will bloom every year. I appreciate the universities for giving us the opportunity to propose a project that will certainly help the students to cultivate global minds. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite our mascots, Jack the Bulldog and Sufyan-kun, along with student leaders with both universities, to take a photo.